I'm creating a scrapbooking layout for Book Week. I only have one photo and a video. So I've pulled out some elements and I'm just turning my paper around. Now, all these elements, including that background piece, is from the Memory Scrapbooking Kit. The scrapbooking kit is certainly geared towards a simple and easy way to complete layouts, but that doesn't mean that you cannot add mixed media to it. The cardstock is really nice and thick. I'm adding my title, which is Book Week. I've used the mini alphabet dies and just die cut them out from cardstock and just aligning them up with my ruler to put them on. Now they're over a little bit across because that's eventually where I'll add a QR code to the video, which you will not see in this because I haven't printed anything out. I'm just getting this ready for when my photos are done. I'm adding in the dark blue secrecy with these yellows because it just all goes with that little Woody character. I'm not too fussed on the whole real theme of doing this. I just wanted to work with the colors. Now I'm using the packaging technique, or if you want to call it the kissing technique. I've just added the secret C onto some packaging. In this case, a little plastic bag that I had sitting on my desk. And then I broke it up with water with my paintbrush. And then I just sort of kissed or packaged it across the background where I want to sort of set. Now this just gives it a little bit of layers and depth and, splattery look. And it's really is one of the easiest way to add in the mixed media. I pulled in the little element that I created just to make sure that everything was sort of in place where I wanted it. And now I'm adding in a discontinued stencil called mask. Um, I kind of liked the look of using stencils over these sorts of backgrounds. Again, it just gives another little layer, another little texture. It doesn't have anything really to do with the photo or the story. For me, this is just creativity fun. But of course, you could just think that this is like a chain link fence that you'd have with a cowboy. Whatever it suits your needs. But I really wanted to try this whole mixed media idea on this cardstock because it is so thick, and the background already sort of blended itself to a mixed media kind of look with that distressed background. So I'm just moving this mask around. It was easy to sort of line up where I wanted to go. I'm making sure that I sort of go over the areas that I've already got ink as well as areas that I didn't have ink, just so that it extends out a little bit so you sort of see the masking a bit more in some places and other places you don't. And this is just how I like to sort of work this mixed media in to my backgrounds. You can easily use these ideas and techniques on cards. I've done this plenty of times before. I don't do this on every scrapbook layout. I just do it when I really want to have a little bit more creative fun and don't mind getting a little bit messy and dirty. Once I've done all the blending across there, I will then bring in my little photo area mat, just to make sure again that if I wanted to extend that background in a bit more somewhere, I know exactly where I've got to go. Now I'm bringing in a stamp. So this is a text stamp. Again, I just thought that this sort of lent towards the whole book week thing, even though this script you can't really read. I'm using the first generation ink from the Secret Sea. So I've actually just used the whole one color on this. And here I am just making sure that I can sort of see it. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of the Secret Sea ink with some texture paste. You could use embossing paste instead. I just didn't have any. Now you're going to look at this and think, oh my goodness, she has used so much in a texture paste on this. This is way more than you would need for this layout. Yeah, I did. But that's because I've started a new art journal, and I knew that I wanted to actually do some page spreads ready with some textured paste laid down with some other stencils that I have. Um, I don't show this in where I've done the art journal in this. If you're interested in seeing some art journal spreads using some Stampin' Up products, please let me know. I would be more than happy to just sort of share some. Again, I'm not being too overly fussy about where this goes. I'm lining up some areas. I'm not filling in all the diamonds. Some of them are missing. This again, it comes from the link together. I am certainly not lining this up from the first one. It is more of another textured layer. Now, here's me adding in some thick cardstock. It's just some excess cardstock from packaging. I couldn't find my foam tape or foam sheet, and I'm quite fine with using this as long as I've got a glue that works with mixed media and that thick card. It just gave it a bit of more lift against that backdrop because the backdrop started to look a little bit heavy because of the dark blues, but it now is popped up a bit more. Plus that yellow brings it all up anyway. I'm adding in those embellishments where I originally sort of had them, and then I'm just kind of looking like, oh no, I don't want that yellow. Then I added in some stamped elements that I done in some more yellows from a couple of different stamp sets that I had, adding in these final little flags. And then I found some blue because, yeah, I couldn't find another leaf. So I'm just like looking at this. Does this work? I'm just going to sit there and like watch that while I go and add in a little bit of stitching stamps, because as much as I love this sew, I'm really bad at it. Well, I think so anyway. I don't like stitching. So I probably prefer to stamp it. If they ever make stitching rub-ons, I would buy 100 packs of them. But that's another story from me. Um, I'm just now looking at it all. I've now decided, yes, I did like this idea of adding the blue at the bottom, and I'm just sneaking it into place, and then I'm going to just glue that down and tuck it in underneath that tag. Once I've done, I will take another final look, work out whether there's anything else that I want or like. But I'm generally happy with how this all sort of came together. The mixed media on the background sort of ties everything in, makes a little bit more focus in on that photo. But I am going to add some embellishments. These again are old embellishments that I had sitting that I kind of like needed to use. So I'm just like auditioning a couple different ones. Decided I'll use a little arrow there, but now remember that space next to Book Week will have like a little QR code sort of sitting there. So don't think that it looks off right now, because I know it does. And here's some close-ups of all that lovely texture and layers of the mixed media that I added, just so that you can sort of see and how this layer came together. I really hope that you sort of like these little ideas and will give it a go yourself. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did. And well, I'd love it if you subscribe, hit like, follow, all those fun things. Bye.